Cool. Okay. Hey, hi everybody. It's been a while since I've done any live streaming, unfortunately, and part of this stream will be to explain why. So let's start with the good news, and it is going to be a good news and bad news thing. So here's the good news. Obviously, I hope everyone who's watching this saw our live stream. I'm sorry, saw our update on Friday. It was a pretty big update full of lots of good stuff that kicked off a 24-hour alpha test. And as you folks know, who were in the alpha test, it went great. You know, some bugs, of course, but actually not too many. And 24 hours later, no crashes of the server, no major disconnects in terms of our backers. Some issues, but not much. Certainly, boy, I want to say better than expected, but considering how well the alphas have gone so far, it's kind of hard to say better than expected. So hopefully you guys loved, had fun during that period. We're going to have another 24 hours this week, and if things go well again, we're going to let some of our beta folks in to join you in the alpha test. So, you know, how many there will be, don't know yet. Don't know if it will be all the beta folks or those who would be let in the next stage of beta, but we'll be figuring that out over the next week or two. But no matter what, unless something really bad happens, I expect that we'll let a lot of beta players in just to see what UIT guys and alpha guys have now been seeing for the last, well, certainly in the alpha for the last few months, or the ITers for longer than that. So, you know, that's it on the good news. Here's the bad news. So, over the last 2 months, I have been, boy, a little less active in terms of live streaming, certainly, but also in terms of being on the forums. As you guys know who are on the forums a lot, my time there has, boy, diminished significantly. And I certainly haven't done the amount of live streaming I had hoped. The reason for this, unfortunately, it was a serious one. In April, my wife, Janet, who you know, you guys know as some of you guys know as Lady J on the forums or on IT, was unfortunately diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was kind of surprising, you know, like it is for most women who get diagnosed with it. It took us totally by surprise. You know, no history in her family, no, you know, lump, no nothing, and that was kind of, well, surprising and shocking and upsetting, you know, obviously for the family. And I made a promise to all you backers, boy, 2 years ago, that we'd run a very open campaign. And this is an example of that. I did want to tell you guys in April. I couldn't. The reasons are really just there were some people, especially my son, that, you know, going through some stuff that, frankly, I did not want him to have that over his head while we were going through all of this. So we told him last week when he got back from college, and therefore I'm telling you folks. Now, the good news, and there is good news in this as well, is that we've been through the entire, you know, battery of tests and speaking to all the doctors and the specialists and MRIs and ultrasounds even, which I had no idea they actually used in breast cancer treatment as well. And the news couldn't be better. I mean, if you're going to get, you know, fortunately for her, her cancer is one that's very treatable, and she's going to have surgery in 2 weeks. And hopefully after the surgery, everything will be just fine. But this, you know, has, as you can imagine, been very upsetting. It has taken a lot of my time because, as you folks who know me very well know, I can be intense at times. So I certainly went intensively into the research, read every journal, every abstract I could find, talked to a whole bunch of people, and it was very consumptive. And I have to obviously still be there for my wife and for the studio. So it meant cutting back on some things. And that's where we get to the mea culpa. And so this is my mea culpa. If on the forums I've been a little testier than I normally am, and not just snarky, just a little bit, less patient than I have been at times. This is the reason. Also, many months ago, I asked the folks from MMORPG and Massively to join us in a private section of our forums to talk about our crafting system. And it was right after that, talk about your bad timing, that we got the diagnosis. And so I haven't been, active there. And so I want to apologize to them as well. I'm very sorry about not having the time or making the time to do this. So, it's a mea culpa. I am very sorry that I wasn't able to do everything that I hoped to do. But, the news is good. And, in a few weeks, I'll be back to, hopefully, my normal presence on the forums as well as live streaming. So, besides the mea culpa, besides, the good news, I want to take a moment to do a bit of a public service announcement. So for those of you who see this, whether you are a woman or obviously know a woman, or, frankly, well, actually, if you are or you know one, you probably count 99.9% of the people here. If you know someone who is at the stage where they are having mammograms, there's this wonderful technology out there called a 3D mammogram. It is not paid for, unfortunately, by insurance generally. They'll pay for apparently everything else, but something like this, even in our case here in Virginia, which has great health care and great insurance, albeit expensive, they didn't pay for it, and they don't pay for it. But that technology is the reason the news on my wife is so good. This 3D mammogram allowed the doctors to find this tumor way before it would have been found with regular mammogram and, frankly, a breast exam. She says she's been through multiple breast exams and they haven't found it. They can't. It's too small. So, if you know anyone, if you are a woman yourself and you can afford it, I couldn't recommend more highly that 3D mammogram. It is absolutely a huge difference maker for my wife. We have caught this so early, and it is so treatable, and this would not have happened if it wasn't for that technology. So for those who develop the technology, for those who are thinking about it, it is, a thank you to the first, and definitely for you out there who might be using it on yourselves or, for someone you love or even like. I couldn't recommend it any more highly than I do. It was such a difference maker in Janet's case, and I am eternally grateful for that. Janet and I have been together now 34 years, and anything that gives us some more is a good thing. Along with that, I also want to say that I am going to be donating some of the proceeds, my proceeds from this game, to cancer research, specifically the group founded by Evelyn and Leonard Lauder, the Breast Cancer Research Society. They have donated an incredible amount of time and money to that foundation. They've done some wonderful things with it. Evelyn, the founder, I got to know over the years, and a tireless worker, supporter, obviously of her own group. And I think that I can't find a better way to say thank you for not only the work that they've done, but that other groups have done by donating some of the profits from this game to them. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So, boy, that pretty much sums up today's update. Sorry for the bit of a downer, but like I said, I promised you guys that we'd always be open, we'd always be honest, and sometimes news and updates isn't good. And while I know ADJ is going to be just fine, everyone says she's going to be just fine, and I have no doubt she's going to be just fine, it's still something that has weighed heavily on me. So again, a mea culpa, folks, and now I'm going to open up the comments for a Q&A. So go ahead, guys.